One.
Welcome back to the Splash Pokemon League. We are in Season 21. It is Week 1. A new era. Paradox, Mythicals, Legendaries, Ultra Beasts, all banned. So it's turning out to be a very exciting season. We have our matchup, a rematch of our finals from last season. We have Sleid versus Cramgoose or Solace Ant. I am commentating here with Simp4Sylvain. How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm really excited about this matchup. It's going to be really fun to have the run back. And I'm really excited to see what these players are packing for each other. Completely different style of teams this season. Last season, Goose had regular Ursaluna, but now it's Sled's turn. But this time he has the Blood Moon, so it's kind of ironic in a way.
Yeah, and Blood Moon we know to be very powerful, extremely powerful Pokemon. Both of these trainers have Sun teams, so I'm very interested to see which Sun team prevails. We see Goose with the Slacking Wheezing combo. He can also Trick Room with Hatterene. But Slade also has kind of a similar team. He can also Trick Room himself.
He has that Trick Room. He can also stop that Trick Room in prison on the Cofagrigus. And then also, if he catches himself out of position in the Trick Room, that Clefairy is really slow with an After You. Could also function decently well in that Trick Room setting, but he also has a little bit more speed in the Ninetales and Venusaur. But we also do have the Lilligant. So we have Chlorophyll Mons online, Trick Room Mons online. It's really excited to see how each player is going to try to take control of the match.
Yes, I am so excited for this match. I mean, I've been waiting for this all week. The rematch between our champion Slade and Cramgoose. Man, I don't even want to wait any longer.
Alrighty, let's go.
I'm excited to see what the leads are. I wonder if somebody is going to rip Sun right off the bat, if we're going to see Trick Room. Maybe Goose just leads with Slacking Wheezing and leads Torkoal in the back. I'm not so sure.
It will be interesting. I'm also interested in the fact that we see Scavalier here. Now, Sled also has on his team, looks like he left Crobat. So it looks like he is abandoning any form of Tailwind there. We see Clefairy and Ursaluna from Sled, best friends. They do great work together. On Goose's end, we see that Slacking and Hatterini lead. Really interesting lead from Goose.
I wonder what the plan is there.
Yeah, the Slacking gets one turn before it goes off, which means that... What was that? I think you cut out on me real quick.
Oh, I'm so sorry. This could be just an immediate swap out to Wheezing, or maybe Slacking swaps out into Torkoal to try to get this Trick Room up.
Yeah, definitely we could see a swap from the Slacking. We may see an attack and then swap out next turn, and it may cover for if Hatterini wanted to go ahead and set up Trick Room, or it has another way of bouncing itself out. It does have that magic bounce. Maybe Goose has some unique strategy for it. Both of these mons are extremely bulky too, so that makes it really hard for Sled to go through and play. And there's a Follow Me. Shalonberry. Interesting.
Very interesting. And that Hyper Voice didn't really do a lot to the Slacking, and it obviously didn't do a lot to the Hatterini due to that Shalonberry. And Trick Room is now up.
If I had to take a guess, I'm thinking that may be an Assault Vest Slacking.
I would assume so. You know, in prep this week, I did mention to Slade, hey, Slacking might run an Assault Vest. That thing loves Assault Vest. It could be something to watch out for. But that return doing over half to the Clefairy. A
Yeah.
very powerful return.
There's that, but now, interestingly, slacking is one of the fastest things on the field, which means it would be going last. We see the Torkoal swap in for it. And, ooh, good protect on Sleid in. That sidekick not getting much value there. We move some Mons around. That Escavalier looks in trouble, if you ask me.
I mean, you kind of have to Terra Fire to get out of this incoming eruption. I do know the item on Escavalier. I do have some insider knowledge on what this thing is rocking, and I'm very excited. But we don't know the item on Torkoal, so it could be interesting to see how the speeds work out here. I'm pretty sure Torkoal naturally underslows Escavalier.
I think they're at the same speed stat.
Ooh, so this could be a speed tie.
Yeah, a coin flip. So it would be interesting to go through, see who ends up going first, because if that Escavalier gets a move off, breaks, or does a good amount of damage to that Torkoal, that Eruption's probably not going to do enough with that Psychic to take out the Blood Moon.
Yeah, I think your priority here is to take down this Torkoal, at least lower health, so the eruption doesn't kill the Ursaluna. I can't imagine this is nothing other than a Terra Fire here to try to resist the eruption coming up.
Yeah, another way that so you can go through is if he has the Vacuum Wave on the Blood Moon specifically for... Oh. It is slower than... So it could be an item. We haven't seen an item, but that Terrifier there going through, keeping it safe. The Eruption not doing too much, but the swap into Clefairy means that Blood Moon here in just a few turns can come back out full of HP. No damage on it. Now, Mind's Eye goes through and it still allows you to hit ghost types. So even though we see a Terra from this Hatterene, it's not safe. And in fact, it looks like it's biting it in the back a little bit with this Cofagrigus coming out.
Yeah, that Shadow Ball doing some massive damage to this Hatterene. Torkoal holding on with the Drill Run, but unfortunately missing the Heat Wave on the Cofagrigus. We know that this Torkoal is not Specs or any choice item. I mean, something I'm thinking about is Charcoal. And in comes Dad. And there it is, the skill swap. All right, I was wondering if that lead with Hatterene, that he was going to try to do something tricky with this slacking.
Yeah, slacking no longer having that Truant, instead having that magic bounce. Trick Room goes down. It is now the fastest thing out on the field. Escavalier tears out of its steel type, so that return can do a whole lot of damage. And then you also have this Bisharp out, who can threaten this Rodriguez pretty hard as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It's looking a little rough. Ooh, a rock slide with a critical hit. Knock off into the Escavalier.
It is that iron ball, so that is how it was underspeeding that Torkoal each and every time. It was no longer a coin flip. It was always going to underspeed.
You know, I did know about it. But I have to show some showmanship, I got to pretend like I didn't know that I recommended the item ball, or the iron ball attack.
Alrighty, everybody here, interesting situation. We've already used Ally Swap. we have this slacking. It is the fastest thing on this field. You also have this Bisharp who can go through and threaten this Cofagrigus with a knockoff. It can also hit pretty hard into that Ursaluna and resist most of its moves except for an Earth Power if it's running it.
Yeah, something I'm very afraid of is now that we are on the turn after ally switch, does this Slacking have a fighting move like a Drain Punch to go right into this Ursaluna and heal up a little bit?
That'd make it really, really nice, especially if um, it is the Assault Vest, just making it super bulky between these two mons. Ooh, the failed ally switch into, a
Oh, goodness
huge
gracious.
crit. That Torkoal comes out, it's pretty low. It will probably end up dying to a Hyper Voice.
But this
But
Bisharp is probably going to KO this Ursaluna. I'm a little nervous about that. I don't think that being at 33% health is going to save it too much.
there's the knockoff, and we get to see its safety goggles. Nice, going through having that for that Lilligant Sleep Powder Chlorophyll. What a good first round. I feel like Goose got a lot of information about items there at the very end and had a really successful slacking Patterini lead. So it'll be interesting to see how Sleid goes through and adjust for that lead.
Yeah, I would say that game went almost close to perfect for Goose because he got the skill swap off, the turn Trick Room ended, Hatterene goes down, it's already done what it needs to do, and now you get a free switch in to this Bisharp, who with knockoff has the hidden value of you get to find out what your opponent's rocking. You get to know what items they put on. It helps you prep a little bit for game 2.
Which means how is Sleid going to adjust? Is he going to bring those same mons? He was getting a good amount of value out of the Clefable and the Ursaluna there. So maybe he goes through, brings them again. We have the anti-trick room with the Escavalier. Escavalier can do a lot into most of his mons, so I wonder if he switches it up. I wonder if he brings the Venusaur and the Ninetales instead.
It could be interesting because obviously Torkoal came that first game. Maybe if he had Venusaur the first game, he could have a speed advantage. But I'm wondering if there's going to be a switch up. We didn't see any Wheezing. We didn't see any Lilligant from Goose game 1.
Yeah, but if I'm Goose and I know that we have that Terra Fire safety goggles on that Blood Moon, I'm a little less inclined to bring Lilligant. But Goose does like to go through and have multiple leads ready to go. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see a change up in the leads. In fact, we see a comment right there. Sorry, leads are hard.
Yeah, and that's okay. That gives us time to kind of talk it through. We could see, because there's no presence of fake out from Sleid. Lilligant's going to be the fastest thing. We could see after your eruption to force a Terra Fire immediately from Sleid, and he can kind of pivot around like he did game 1.
Yeah, we did not get to see that last move on the Ursaluna, and based on that, I'm guessing it's not Vacuum Wave. We saw Hyperverse protect Blood Moon, probably Earth Power, if I had to make a guess just for the Torkoal and the Bisharp. Seems to be really good into his team.
Yeah, and also if you're running neutralizing gas Wheezing, you won't have Levitate, so the Earth Power seems pretty good into that as well.
Yeah.
That would be a good guess on that last move.
Alrighty, we see the same leads from Sleid. A double protect here, a coaching boost right into The slacking, ooh, starting off strong, going through, starting to get those boosts. We could see a hard swap here from the Lilligant into a wheezing to go through and keep that pressure going. There's the wheezing.
There it is. We need this. Follow me. Ooh.
Does a lot of damage. Goes through, instead of focusing into the slacking slot, focuses into the wheezing slot. Really good. Noticing that, hey, I need that swap, and I need to go ahead and get wheezing offline to help neuter this slacking.
Yeah, that was a very good read by Sleid because you really want to take care of this wheezing ASAP so that way slacking, you can kind of stall it out. There we see the hyper voice from Ursaluna trying to take down the wheezing and also chip down the slacking. Unfortunately, wheezing went for protect there. Pretty good call from Goose. Trying to make sure this wheezing stays around a little bit longer. But now we see the swap into Grigus. I wonder if we are just going to see a hard Trick Room angle here. Try to...
We could also see a protect with a Will-O-Wisp here if he is bringing that on the Cofagrigus.
Yes, Will-O-Wisp, very good against slacking. You want to make sure you neuter that damage as much as possible from this thing, especially with the coaching boost now. And you want to protect this Ursaluna. It's your biggest threat. I mean, it's your round one pick. It's doing massive damage. It almost killed this wheezing.
So that wheezing's pretty darn bulky to go through and live a blood moon like that. There is the protect. We see the knockoff right there.
Critical hit knockoff into the Cofagrigus. This is dire for Sleid. Unfortunately, that is rough.
Another thing is, wheezing can go through and it can protect safely this next turn, meaning that this slacking, who is super fast, super buff, just gets to continue to attack off for free here. And it's a risk to protect Ursaluna again. In fact, we see the return directly into it. Even the double up into the slacking does just barely bring it below half. I am surprised not to see the blood moon, but instead going for the hyper voice.
Yeah, he might have predicted this protect on the wheezing. Ooh. Yeah, and I think that's going to be most likely the game here.
That is the game, a 4-0 revenge sweep. Seems like our players are 1v1 against each other. What an exciting match. Oh my, oh my.
Very exciting. It looked like in this game too, Goose just had it from the get-go with the coaching boost on this slacking to the immediate swap into the wheezing. Just showing everybody that slacking still has it, as much to my dismay because everybody knows I hate this thing, but I can't deny that it just put in a metric ton of work in this game.
Yeah, got some really good help with those critical hits. What a fun match to go through and see. In fact, welcome.
I said I wasn't going to do commentary, but slacking was very funny, and I wanted to talk about it.
How you feeling?
I'm shaking. It was, I wasn't really sure at the very end whether or not if I switched out wheezing and tried to steal Mummy from Cofagrigus, if slacking would move, so I just left him in. I really don't know how neutralizing gas interacts that much with Truant yet, but
actually, yeah, you wouldn't have gotten Mummy because of the neutralizing gas. I never even thought of that.
Yeah, in one of the scrims I played against my team, I got to steal Mummy from Coffin, and it was very, very fun. But I wasn't sure if I stopped wheezing out, if I would have gotten to take my turn. So I doubled into Coffin Grigus that turn with Fire Blast and Knockoff.
Yeah.
The crit killed it, so it's hard to tell.
That slacking just absolutely cleaned house, and you skill swapping on the final turn of Trick Room in turn 1 was really cool, or game 1 was really cool.
Masterful.
At one point in scrims, I was running Magic Bounce Slacking next to Friend Guard Hatterene against Truant Clefairy, and that was like the best it ever got. And I was hoping that if I got even one like fraction of that to work, that it would go okay, you know.
Does somebody want to ping Sleid for interviews? Not sure if he's still around.
I'll message him.
You got it?
But
Yeah, I sent him a direct message.
if anyone has hello,
Alright, he is not popping in for comms.
that's fine. I understand.
But yeah, man, you played that very masterfully. I mean, that game 1, like I was in awe when at the beginning of the game when you led Slacking Hatterene, I had a feeling that maybe, just maybe, you had skill swap on this thing.
It's the final boss of Pokemon Coliseum. That I stole that strategy from him.
That is incredible.
He leads,
Yeah, like
he leads Slowking Slacking and skill swaps Truant onto Slowking, and then tries to skill swap Truant onto you. What a beast!
Beautiful. I also love the Chilean Berry on the Hatterene.
It's so dumb. It was also Terra Ghost, but Ghost doesn't mean anything against Ursaluna.
Yeah, it's like the only way to really deal with Blood Moon, because if you want to resist normal, then you just get blown up by Earth Power.
Yeah, it was just for the poison resistance from Venusaur and Crobat was the Ghost coverage. But it was just at one point the berry was on Torkoal, and then I got Blood Moon once in a scrim and still died. And I was like, okay, I guess he has to not run that because Ursaluna Blood Moon hits very, very hard.
Indeed.
yes,
The Terrifiers are pretty concerning. I mean, I imagine that's going to happen a lot to me this season. But I thought he might run like a couple. But Torkoal felt really, really bad that first game because everything could resist it. And he had a Flash Fire Mon, which was one of the only non-Terrifiers.
Yeah.
Hey Goose, I have a question about some of the items you ran, because we obviously saw the Chelan Berry. What did the item end up being on the Torkoal, and I have to assume that Slacking was rocking an Assault Vest.
Yeah, he's Assault Vest. I think the conclusion I came to is that Slacking should never be protecting anyway. Because he has limited turns to be useful, that he should probably just be hitting moves every turn. The other items, I had Focus Sash on Lilligant. I had Expert Belt on Bisharp. I'll be honest, I didn't really think I was going to bring him, so I don't remember. It's Eviolite. It's and Shuka Berry on Weezing. And Charcoal on Torkoal.
So it was Charcoal, okay.
Yeah. His set was really boring. It was Eruption, Heatwave, Protect, Scorching Sands.
So the Torkoal set.
Yeah.
Fire Blast over Flamethrower, though. What was the count on that?
Weezing has very little special attack. There was no calc. I just like it. I need to squeeze damage out of him where I can.
That's 100% fair, yeah. What is it, 90? 85 special attack?
85 special attack. don't know.
E5.
There are a lot of Pokemon on Sleid's team that have very poor special defense. Cofagrigus and Ursaluna being the main two.
Yeah, it's only 65 on that Ursaluna.
So does this mean you get the slab back?
I hope so. It turns out the ground typing on Runarigus is only harmful.
Oh, yeah. It's just a worse Cofagrigus. I guess the stab, high horsepower, earthquake, or whatever could sometimes be useful, but...
It's just like...
I don't even know
Also,
if it gets high horsepower.
it does get high horsepower,
Okay.
I think. I'm pretty sure. The thing that really upset me is I've got this dugong in the back, and he has so many ice weaknesses, and I can't bring it because it sucks. It sucks so much.
I want to know terribly bad why. What is your dedication to the aquatic mammal Pokemon? Like, what's happening?
I needed a fire, water, grass core that resisted fire.
You need it that bad. Though.
I needed it. All I'm saying is, Moth, if we play week 7 and I beat you with Perish Song, Whirlpool, Dukong, don't come crying to me.
Alright, guys. I think we've pretty much wrapped up this interview. Great games. See you guys next week.